All right, buckle up, everyone, because today we are diving deep, deep into Palermo. The third book, in Jerry Bader's Outlaw Writers series.
Right.
So if you haven't listened to our deep dives on the first two books,
Make sure to check those out.
yeah, definitely go back and check those out. But today we're all about Palermo, and we're going to unpack the plot,
The characters,
everything.
all the twists and turns.
So think of us as your guides through this wild world that Bader has created.
All right, so to kick things off, Palermo throws us right into the action
Oh, yeah.
with a brutal, and I mean brutal, horse race in Monreale, Sicily.
Okay, so we're not talking the Kentucky Derby here.
No. This is like underground, mafia-controlled, illegal horse racing.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and it really sets the tone for the whole book, like danger lurks around every corner.
Well, and, I was reading about Jerry Bader, and he actually writes all kinds of stuff,
Ugh.
yeah, from crime novels to children's books, all over the place.
Right. Wow, that's impressive.
I know, it's pretty crazy. But this scene, I can totally see how his crime writing background comes through.
Oh, for sure. It's so gritty and realistic.
You're right there on that dusty track, feeling the tension.
Yeah, absolutely. And speaking of tension, we meet Bestia, this champion racehorse.
Yeah.
He's running his last race, and, well, let's just say there are no rules on this track.
So it's a blood sport.
It is. It's brutal. The stakes are high, and you know someone's going to get hurt.
Wow. Okay, so we've got this, intense, high-stakes opening scene.
Right.
And then Bader introduces us to Josephine Summersby Murphy.
Mrs. Murphy.
This wealthy widow who inherited, a ton of money.
Yeah, you'd think she'd be living the dream, right?
Totally. But she's actually super stressed about this scam involving a troubled thoroughbred named Rebel Beast.
Rebel Beast.
Yeah, I love that name.
It's a good one.
So you've got this contrast. On the one hand, she's got all this wealth, but on the other hand, she's got all this worry.
And it's not like this is her first rodeo with, horse racing drama.
Right.
She's already lost a beloved horse in the past.
Oh, wow.
And get this, her trainer was murdered.
Oh, my gosh, that's crazy.
Yeah, so there's definitely this sense of foreboding, something bad is going to happen.
Yeah, trouble just follows her around.
It does. And then, bam, tragedy strikes again.
Oh.
Mrs. Murphy dies in Sicily, supposedly in a car accident.
Okay, but it's Sicily, so there's got to be more to it.
Exactly, and the police are way too quick to dismiss it as an accident, which is suspicious.
Super suspicious.
And then it comes out that her brake lines were cut.
Oh, wow.
So clearly, this was no accident.
No, this is murder.
Straight up murder. So now the big question is, who wanted Mrs. Murphy dead?
Right.
And suspicion immediately falls on these shady characters connected to the racing world. The Cordero brothers
Okay.
and Santos Luzzatto.
I'm already getting bad vibes from these guys.
Oh, yeah, they reek of trouble.
They do. And this is where our main character, Jesse James, comes in.
Jessie. I love her.
She's great.
She's so tough and resourceful.
She is. So she's a former jockey,
Right.
and she works for this powerful figure in the horse racing world, Johnny Luck.
Johnny Luck, always pulling the string.
Oh, yeah, he's got his hands in everything.
He does. So he tasks Jessie with figuring out what really happened to Mrs. Murphy.
To find the truth.
Yeah. To unravel the mystery.
So what are your first impressions of Jessie, when you first met her in the book?
Oh, she instantly grabbed my attention. She's smart, she's capable, and she's not afraid to take risks. She's the kind of character you just want to root for.
I totally agree. She's got that classic, strong female protagonist vibe.
Yes, but she's also got this vulnerability,
Yeah, she's not just, all tough and no heart.
Exactly. There's a depth to her character that makes her feel really real.
Oh, absolutely. And her investigation takes her from California all the way to Sicily.
International intrigue.
Oh, yeah. We're talking globe-trotting mystery here.
It's awesome. And it's during this trip that she meets William Stone.
Ooh, William Stone.
This mysterious and charming guy.
Okay, so what's the deal with him? What were your initial thoughts?
Well, he's definitely got that suave, sophisticated vibe going on, and he seems genuinely interested in Jessie, but Bader is so good at, dropping these little hints.
Oh, yeah, he does.
That something might be off about Stone. There's more to him than meets the eye.
Did you pick up on any of those hints early on?
Honestly, I was so caught up in their chemistry, I kind of missed them at first.
I get that. Their connection is pretty intense.
Yeah, it is. But looking back, there were definitely some red flags.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, little things he said or that just didn't quite add up.
Okay, so we've got Jessie trying to unravel this murder mystery.
Right.
We've got this mysterious William Stone.
Yeah.
And then we've got another Palermo thrown into the mix.
Another Palermo.
Yeah, this one's in Argentina.
Whoa. Okay, wait. So there's a Palermo in Sicily and a Palermo in Argentina.
Yep. Bader loves to keep us on our toes.
He does. And how does this Argentinian Palermo tie into everything?
Well, we learned that Luzado's lawyer in Argentina, Juan Pedro Cervantes.
Cervantes, right?
Yeah, he's got connections to both Rebel Beast, the horse Mrs. Murphy was worried about, and a horse named Devil Beast.
Devil Beast. Come on, Bader. You're killing me with these names.
I know, right?
They're so good.
They are, but wait, so what's the connection between these two horses?
That's the million-dollar question, and that's exactly what Jesse is trying to figure out.
This is getting complicated.
It is, but that's what makes it so good. Like, all these seemingly separate threads start to intertwine.
Classic Bader, weaving a tangled web.
Totally. And just when you think you've got it all figured out, bam, he throws in a curveball.
Oh, I know those curveballs.
Like the revelation about Governor Samuel Summersby.
Mrs. Murphy's brother.
Yep, her own brother.
What about him?
Turns out, he's the one who orchestrated both Rebel Beast's death and his sister's murder.
Oh my gosh, are you serious? Totally serious. All to inherit her fortune.
That's cold-blooded.
It is. Talk about family drama.
That's an understatement, so he's the mastermind behind it all.
He is. He's the puppet master pulling the strings.
Wow, I did not see that coming.
I know, right? It's a total shocker.
It is. And what about the Cordero brothers and Luzado? What happens to them?
Well, let's just say Mo Fields takes care of them.
Mo Fields, Johnny Luck's enforcer.
Yep, the guy who gets things done.
Right, and by gets things done, we mean...
Let's just say they don't make it out of this story alive.
Oh, wow. So swift justice, Mo Fields style.
You could say that, but amidst all this action and intrigue, Jessie is going through her own emotional roller coaster.
Of course. I mean, finding out the guy you're falling for might be a total fraud is gotta be tough.
Yeah, and remember, she travels to London to try and uncover the truth about William Stone.
Right.
And she makes this heartbreaking discovery at a military hospital.
Ooh, a military hospital? What's going on there?
Well, we're not going to spoil all the detail. You'll have to read the book for that. But let's just say, it throws everything she thought she knew about Stone into question.
That's gotta be devastating.
It is. It's a real turning point for her character.
So what does she do?
Well, she doesn't give up.
Of course not. That's not Jessie's style.
Nope. She heads back to Argentina.
Back to Argentina, okay.
And there she has this encounter with Cervantes that just drops a bombshell about Stone's true identity.
Another bombshell, Bader. You are full of surprises.
He is, and that's where we're going to leave things for now.
Oh, come on. You can't leave us hanging like that.
I know, but trust me, you're going to want to hear what happens next.
I'm on the edge of my seat.
So make sure you come back for part 2 of our deep dive into Palermo.
I wouldn't miss it.
Because things are about to get even more intense.
I can't wait. You know, it's the characters that really get me in Palermo.
Yeah.
Like, especially Jessie.
Oh, she's amazing.
She's navigating this crazy world with all its twists and turns, and she never loses her cool.
Well, she's a former jockey, right? So she's used to high-pressure situations.
That's true, but it's more than that,
Yeah.
She's got this sharp wit. She's tough as nails, but she also has this strong sense of justice.
Oh, totally. And I think that's what makes her so relatable.
Right. She's not just out for herself.
She wants to do what's right, even if it means putting herself at risk.
Exactly. And that's not always easy in this world, especially in the world of horse racing that Bader depicts.
No, it's a cutthroat world, full of shady characters and dangerous secrets.
And speaking of shady characters, we have to talk about William Stone.
Oh, Stone.
The man of mystery.
Right. So charming, so suave, but there's always this underlying tension.
Like, you never really know what he's thinking.
Exactly. And Bader does such a brilliant job of, planting these seeds of doubt.
Oh, he does.
Like, you want to trust Stone. You want to believe he's genuine.
Yeah.
But then there's this little voice in the back of your head saying, wait a minute, is he really who he says he is?
It's like he's wearing a mask and you're trying to peek behind it.
Yes. And you just can't quite figure him out.
And did you find yourself constantly analyzing his motives, like trying to decipher his every word and action?
Oh, absolutely. And it's so frustrating because you want to believe in the connection he seems to share with Jessie.
Right.
But then those red flags keep popping up.
Like little inconsistencies in his stories, or maybe a look that flashes across his face.
Yeah, those subtle hints that Bader throws in.
As he's a master manipulator, Bader. I mean...
He is. He knows how to keep us guessing.
And it's not just Stone. All of the characters in Palermo are so complex and well-developed.
Oh, absolutely. Even the antagonists.
Like the Cordero brothers and Santos Luzado.
Yeah, they're not just your typical one-dimensional villains.
No, they're driven by greed, of course.
But Bader gives us glimpses into their backgrounds, their motivations,
It's like you can almost understand why they do the things they do.
even if you don't condone their actions.
Exactly, and that's what makes them so compelling.
It's like, are they really bad guys? Or are they just products of their environment?
It's a question that lingers in your mind long after you finish the book.
And then there's Governor Summersby,
Oh, don't even get me started on him.
the ultimate betrayal.
To kill your own sister for money? I mean, come on.
It's shocking.
It is, and Bader sets it up so subtly.
You know, you get those little hints that maybe Summersby isn't as squeaky clean as he seems.
But you never expect him to be capable of something like that.
No, and the reveal is just like a punch to the gut.
It makes you question everything you thought you knew about the characters and their relationships.
And it really highlights one of the main themes of the book, which is deceit.
Oh, yeah. Deceit, betrayal, the masks people wear.
It's all there.
And the world of horse racing itself is almost like a character in the story.
It is. It's this backdrop of beauty and danger,
Yeah.
of wealth and desperation.
And Bader captures it so perfectly.
You can almost smell the hay in the dirt, feel the thunder of hooves.
It's so immersive.
It's like you're right there on the track with Jessie, experiencing everything firsthand.
And what about Jessie's journey?
I mean, she's going through so much.
She's trying to solve this murder mystery. She's dealing with the possibility that the man she loves is a fraud.
And she's constantly being pulled in different directions.
It's a lot to handle, even for someone as tough as Jessie.
But she never gives up.
She's a fighter.
She is, and I think that's what makes her so inspiring.
So what do you think is driving her, beyond just finding the truth about Miss Murphy's death?
I think it's a search for her own truth.
That's interesting.
Like she's lost so much, her career, her trust in people, maybe even the illusion of love.
Yeah.
And her investigation is almost a way for her to reclaim some control, to find her own footing in a world that feels chaotic and unpredictable.
That's a really insightful observation.
And then, of course, there's the bombshell about William Stone's true identity.
Oh, yeah, the big reveal.
It changes everything.
It does. Suddenly, everything we thought we knew about him is called into question.
And for Jessie, it's a devastating blow.
I can't even imagine.
After everything she's been through, to find out that the man she's falling for might be just another player in this twisted game.
It's heartbreaking.
It is, but even in the midst of that pain, there's a flicker of hope.
Really?
Yeah, like a tiny sliver of doubt that maybe, just maybe, there was something real between them.
You're a romantic at heart.
Maybe. But Bader leaves us with that possibility, that ambiguity.
And that's what makes the ending so powerful.
It's not a neat and tidy resolution.
No, it's messy, it's complicated, it's real life.
Exactly. And it leaves you with so many questions.
Like, was any of it real? Was his connection with Jessie genuine, or was it all just a lie?
We may never know for sure.
And that's okay.
It is, because sometimes life doesn't give us all the answers.
It's about learning to live with the uncertainty.
And about finding our own truth, even when it's painful.
I love that, finding our own truth.
And I think that's something that Jessie ultimately does.
She does, and that's what makes her such a compelling character.
She's a survivor.
She is, and she teaches us that we can overcome anything, even the most devastating betrayals.
It's like you finish Palermo and you just sit there for a minute.
Yeah, you gotta process it all.
It's heavy stuff.
It is, it makes you think.
And the ending, it's not like tied up with a neat little bow.
No, not at all.
You're left with all these questions.
Exactly, like about William Stone.
Oh, Stone, yeah.
Was any of it real? Like, his feelings for Jessie, was that all just part of the con?
Right, or was there, like, a genuine connection there, somewhere beneath all the lies and deception?
It's tough to say.
It is, and I think that's what Bader wants us to grapple with.
To make our own judgments.
Yeah, like, is Stone redeemable? Can we forgive him for his actions?
And what about Jessie? How does she move forward after all of this?
I mean, talk about a betrayal of trust.
It's got to be devastating.
It is, but she's strong.
Oh, she's incredibly strong.
She doesn't let it break her.
No, she picks herself up and keeps going.
And I think that's one of the most powerful things about Palermo. It's a story about resilience, about finding the strength to overcome adversity, even when it feels impossible.
Yeah, and about finding your own truth.
Exactly, because ultimately that's what Jessie does.
She finds her own path, even though it's not the one she expected.
And that's something we can all relate to, right?
I think so. We all face challenges, setbacks, betrayals.
It's part of life.
And Palermo reminds us that We have the power to choose how we respond to those challenges.
To define our own destinies.
And that's a powerful message.
So as we wrap up our deep dive into Palermo,
It's been quite a journey.
it has. I'm curious to hear, like, what are your final takeaways? What resonated with you the most?
Honestly, I think it's the complexity of the characters.
Yeah.
They're not just good or bad, they're human with all their flaws and contradictions.
And the way Bader weaves their stories together, it's just masterful.
It's like a tapestry with all these different threads intertwining.
And you're constantly trying to figure out how it all connects.
And even when you reach the end, there are still some loose ends.
But that's okay.
It is, because it leaves us with something to ponder.
To think about long after we've finished the book.
Exactly, and that's the mark of a truly great story.
It stays with you.
It makes you question, it makes you feel, it makes you think.
And I think Palermo does all of those things.
It does, and more.
So if you're looking for a book that will keep you on the edge of your seat, challenge your assumptions, and leave you with a lot to think about, then definitely check out Palermo by Jerry Bader.
And the rest of the Outlaw Writer series, too.
It's a wild ride.
You won't regret it.
Well, that's it for our deep dive into Palermo.
I had a blast.
Me too. Thanks for joining us on this journey.
Always a pleasure.
And we'll see you next time for another deep dive into the world of books.